very firmly persuaded that there is a blanket of evil, a blanket of sorcery, a blanket of the occult that has blanketed our nation.
Most interestingly to me, Mr. President, for the first time, I have seen an elaborate provision made for money to be borrowed to build the Eastern Rail Line.
Late President Buhari didn't remove subsidy on petrol, on diesel, and he still didn't borrow as much as this present APC government are borrowing.
We all represent constituencies. We need to go home and say, this is how these monies, when borrowed, will impact in either security, what amount in agriculture. When it comes to states, let's know how much goes into this state.
All right, thank you. So let me first of all correct the impression in your intro. You got everything wrong in your intro. Everything wrong in your intro. Maybe you didn't make enough research.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Plan B TV News, Gist and Blog. At least when we see people like this, clergy men, voicing out to talk more about things that matters to the citizens, I'm happy. Watching these particular videos of Pastor Paul Eneshe, the Dunamis head, what he said in this particular video of the kinds of evils, cobweb that cover this nation, for me, I just applaud him for it. Though we have made several videos also counter the kind of preaching, but I want you guys to watch the video.
I am very firmly persuaded that there is a blanket of evil, a blanket of sorcery, a blanket of the occult that has blanketed our nation. I was talking with the National President of Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria today. I said, apart from the fact that you have pain, that the people you are shepherding and pastoring are suffering and in pains, no matter how big you are, you can run empty, meeting everybody's need at this season. In this season, is it house rent? Is it children's school fees? Is it food?
Uncountable number.
It's uncountless. He was saying that there are places that where people have to line up after service for assistance. Here we're feeding people for medical bill multiply, and the people of the land are behaving as if nothing is happening. It is a spell of tolerance of suffering, a spell of patience with captivity. Be in love with your chains. If it's not a spell, there is nowhere things like that happen, and everywhere there's nowhere in the world where those at the highest level are practically insensitive, even making a joke of the suffering of the people. Let poor people breathe. And then one of the most wicked persons that ever ruled any country in the world died, and people are praising him. How many youth couples died in 2014 because somebody lost an election? Bauchi area. People who imported terrorism into the country. If it's not a spell, patron of terrorist organizations as a sitting president is a patron of a terror group, wasting whole community. If it is not this kind of country, does such a person deserve a burial? In villages to be buried in an evil forest or something. Whatever spell it is, we ask God to break it.
Break it, Lord.
And let those who are misgoverning and misruling at every level know that none will see the celebration in their deaths.
You might want to know or understand why is it speaking like this. Do you know that this present APC government, starting for 2015 to this 2025, that they have never meant well for Nigeria? Everything that these people portray to Nigeria is pain, agony, and evil. Do you know, despite the surface and the face of the deep and hungers in town and the things that Nigerians are facing, this government keep on borrowing and borrowing and borrowing.
Plan to settle outstanding pension liabilities under the contributory pension scheme. The upper legislative chamber also granted approval to the president to raise another $2 billion in the domestic market by the Debts Management Office, DMO. The Senate approval for the loans follows a careful consideration of the report of its Committee on Local and Foreign Debt. Part of the project to be executed is the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, where the total loan size for Section 1 or Phase 1 of the project is $747 million in the draft borrowing plan. The loans are to be obtained from different international lenders, including the World Bank, Africa Development Bank, China Development Bank, Japanese International Cooperation Agency, and the Islamic Development Bank.
As we are all aware that what we have, as at the time we are passing the budget, is a deficit budget. So how we make up for the deficit is combination of what we have in both the local and the foreign debt. Most interestingly to me, Mr. President, for the first time, I have seen an elaborate provision made for money to be borrowed to build the Eastern Rail Line from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. A provision that was put in the budget, $3 billion. I didn't need to look at any other thing to support this borrowing plan.
Based on above findings, the committee recommends that the Senate do approve the President's request for capital raising up to $2 billion through the establishment of a foreign currency dominated financial instrument issuance program in the domestic debt market by the DMO.
I want you guys to watch this particular video of Senator Negi on how he was debating in the Senate House, asking, what do you do with this money?
We all represent constituencies. We need to go home and say, this is how these monies, when borrowed, will impact in either security, what amount in agriculture. When it comes to states, let's know how much goes into this state. President, I listened to the committee presentation and I listened to Senator Olamileko, the chairman of appropriation. First and foremost, Mr. President, this has to do with our collective inheritance. This is a loan that my generation and generation yet unborn will be saddled to payment or to paying. Yes, this is a proposed payment plan, borrowing plan, but in this document, there is no indication of how these loans will be paid. That is one. Secondly, if you look at the committee's report, on page 3, number 1, that the loan shall specify the purpose of which the borrowing is intended, which shall only be a long-term capital expenditure and human capital development. Going further on page 8, Mr. President, you will now take number 5 under the table. Most NGOs are unable to implement their capital projects effectively due to long delays in funding disbursement. The loans will go a long way to addressing this challenge. Inclusion of this project in the National External Borrowing Plan will enable financial closure and timely implementation. This is not specified. Which MDS and how much does each one cost?
This is a senator, a first-hand senator that have information to know what they are doing with this kind of money they are borrowing. Senator Akbabi, they know, as long as they are majority, they don't even care, they just approve. Without them explaining to Nigerians what are they going to do with the money. The only thing they just say, oh no, we will give to states. Inside that money, they ask, what are you going to do? They mention about at least 5 states in the north where they're going to do some roads and, do some minor thing. $21 billion disappeared. While we were still trying to complain and ask, 21 billion is too much. Festus Keyamo, the aviation minister, came out. Guess what he's saying? They said it needs 712 billion, not 1 million, 712 billion to renovate an existing airport. To hear from the Hustle Smart, I want you guys to listen.
All right, thank you. So let me first of all correct the impression in your intro. You got everything wrong in your intro. Everything wrong in your intro. Maybe you didn't make enough research. First of all, we are not renovating an airport that was recently upgraded. No. That is not the case. That means, you didn't follow the story very well. Lagos has 2 terminals, Terminal 1 and Terminal 2. It is Terminal 2 that was recently built by the federal government through a Chinese loan. Terminal 1 has not been touched since 1979. That was the one built by the Obasanjo's government. And that is our main airport. The one built with the Chinese loan is just an appendage to the main airport. It cannot even take half of our passengers. That is the one. That's why it has only one entrance. It's not a big one. That other one has more than 6 entrances. I hope you know.
Yeah, we're talking about it.
Hold on. The one facing the road, when you are going to the Lagos International Airport, along that long stretch of road, you see one building, old building facing directly, that long stretch of road. That is the one we are, and we are not rehabilitating, we are not refurbishing. We are reconstructing it.
The total carcass.
Complete. We are tearing it down entirely and reconstructing. Just, you know, those who are in, you know, civil engineers know what I'm talking about. When you tear down a building, it's different from demolition. Tear down is that you remove everything, the roof, the tiles. You now remain only this carcass, only all you won't do is to put the, you know, foundation and all that. Use the same foundation. You just leave the pillars and then, of course, the slab. That is all. Then you do complete reconstruction, complete. That is what we are doing with that old airport that was built and commissioned in 1979, nearly 50 years old. And then guess what? If you are a regular traveler, Nigerians are there listening to you. Don't forget that they are not seeing you as the anchor, as Jesus who knows everything. No, it's an airport that we here in Nigeria, we all pass through. So they have their impression different from what any journalist will say. The airports, the carousels are destroyed. They don't even have the parts to repair them. The air conditioners are gone. We now use makeshift standing air conditioners, no central AC. The toilets are gone. They are old toilets, old tiles smelling. We have been patching. What we have been doing over the years is what they call the patch jobs. Something you just buy, just repair this AC, put another standing AC here. The carousels, when your bags are coming out, you wait for 1 hour, the bags have not come out because you will see the carousel will stop. They will be people will be trying to repair the carousels to bring the bags out. It was totally decrepit. And that is the image of the country. And guess what? For those who are asking, let me just go straight to your questions. For those who are asking whether it's our priority, especially the opposition. So let me spice this up with a bit of politics. That is why Nigerians hold on, come. That's why Nigerians will not vote for them. Because they don't know what it means to run a government and the priorities of government. If you want to bring foreign investors, do you know, first of all the sectors you mentioned, whether health, education, and you know, all the infrastructure in the country, do you know we need massive foreign investments? And I'm sure you know that no country can survive without more massive foreign investment.
These airports were built not up to 500 billion, but they want to use 712 billion to renovate it. They're not going to bring down the structure like what they said. They are going to remove some particles and some things and refill it with new one. Maybe they'll paint it, changing toilets. To build a new airport in a new state, start and fresh, to finish it up, do you think, for me, I'm just asking, do you think it will take 500 billion? Talk more about to renovate. Anyway, I want you guys to listen to this particular video of Isaac Fayoshe, what he said about this borrowing and subsidy. What are they doing with Nigerian subsidy money that they remove?
Late President Buhari didn't remove subsidy on petrol, on diesel, and he still didn't borrow as much as this present APC government are borrowing. Late President Buhari didn't remove subsidy on NEPA, on electricity. He still didn't borrow as much as this government, as much as they are borrowing right now. Late President Buhari he was pushing naira, he was pushing dollars, naira, pegged it, paying a lot of money according to you guys to sustain 650. You guys came and said, no, we can't cushion nothing. Everything must go. How come you are now borrowing so much? Where is the borrowing going? Okay, you claim you are giving states more money. How are you monitoring those states if they are using the money well? So many states up till now, they are still not paying, they are still paying 35,000 minimum, not minimum wage. With all this borrowing you are borrowing. This is weird. Now you have more money from cushion of dollars. You have more money from NEPA subsidy, for electricity subsidy. You have more money from petrol subsidy. You are still borrowing. And the borrow, we cannot see the money on our streets. You guys, not choking, not to choke us remaining. Not to choke us. President TINUBU, remember, you said no suffocation. Don't suffocate my people. Now this is choking. This borrowing is too much. Where is the money going? All the federal roads are very bad. All the federal roads, as we speak today, you can't drive from one state to another without visiting a mechanic. So where is this borrowing going? You said you are giving states more money, but who is monitoring the states? Wala deo, I don't understand.
Now you listen to what he said. You might want to ask. They said they removed subsidy, that this money will be shining to another thing. Since they removed the subsidy now, 2 years plus, now going to 3 years old, at least next year March, which is about 6 or 7 months from here, will be 3 years in office. What has this government done? We have 36 states, and these 36 states, they have federal roads. They have not been able to maintain one, renovate one, reconstruct one. They just constructed a new one. They said 700 kilometers of road. Inside that 700, they took, I think they said $12 billion. $12 billion to construct one road. But what did they do? They only do 30. And they take another billions, not inside that money, to buy street lights. Now, TINUBU take another 10 billion to install solar panel in Aso-Rock. This government, they will tell you that they have borrowed more than even the money when there's Abacha loot, combined to the $60 billion that Obasanjo took, that makes him to campaign and complain about Obasanjo, say they could not make a damn payment for electricity power supply that could generate a roasted corn for. But now, him, combined from Abacha, down to Obasanjo, down to Yaradua, down to Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, to the late Buhari, to him, what they have borrowed over the years is not even as half compared to what this man took in 2 years. You might think, what is he doing with this money? All in the name of 2027 to buy people conscience. You might say, oh, we will not accept it. No, we will not accept this money. We want to vote. You are lying. Go and ask Aproko Doctor. I don't know how much Bill Gates gave to him that he wants to sacrifice the full Nigeria and tell you must accept that GMO. Nigerians, they will still accept. That is the reason they are taking this money, just for campaign. And you think that they care about your life. They just want to remain in power by every means necessary. Anyway, I'll rest my case here. I'll be waiting for you guys in the comment section. What do you think about what Dunamis Church said? What do you think about Isaac Fayoshe? What do you think about all the borrowing? The annoying borrowing of this APC. The good part of it is that there are still evil Nigerians that still support them. I cannot say the bad thing that they are good Nigerians. There are evil Nigerians, perpetual evil Nigerians that still support things like this. They will sit in the comment section, oh, leave TINUBU, TINUBU only borrow, they don't have a specific reason, they just tell you to leave TINUBU alone, like let him borrow. Oh, did you complain when Notana were there, Buhari were there? All right, peace out.
This is the worst government